Doubleheader that was almost a double upset? Hello, I'm Gia Lancey.
And I'm Tyler Small. I'm double upset to be sitting next to Gia Lancey right now, but that's all right because you're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. I sat down with the dynamic duo of the women's basketball team, Claire and Amy Jacobs, to talk about their journey to LaSalle and their freshman year this far.
And later, we'll see highlights from men's and women's packed week of games in Tom Gola Arena.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Woo! Our number 1 comes from the basketball court as sophomore Kayla Sproul was awarded Co-Big 5 Player of the Week, along with Temple's Mia Davis. Sproul led the Explorers in both points and rebounds in each of the first contests last week. First up was the Baltimore native, as she dropped 18 points, allowing 9 rebounds and a losing effort against Richmond. Then came home for a game against Big 5 rival St. Joseph's, with her second double-double of her career with 24 points and 12 rebounds. Overall, Sproul shot 64% on the week, including 66% from beyond the arc, and a perfect 14 for 14 from the free throw line. We will have more on the women's basketball team later in recaps.
At number 2, redshirt senior Nathan Gillis of the LaSalle University men's track and field team was named Atlantic 10 Track Performer of the Week on Tuesday. Gillis started his season off strong, winning the 800-meter race at the Penn 8 team select last Saturday. He topped 41 other runners with a time just over a minute and 50, setting the mark with the fastest time in the A10 so far this season. It's a second A10 Performer of the Week honor of his career, first doing so last indoor season when he broke the school record in the 800 meters.
And number 3, freshman Cole Dyson was named to the 810 Men's Rookie of the Week. The Vienna, Virginia native helped the men's team to a 2-0 record this week, defeating Monmouth and Fordham by a combined score of 416 to 157. Dyson started the week by taking the 1,000 free against the Hawks and second in the 500 free. 3 days later, he lowered times in the 500 by 2 seconds and 1,000 free by nearly 5 seconds to win both events in Fordham.
That's it for this week's top 3. Now on to recaps. The men had a nail biter on Wednesday night against St. Louis. Actually, Saturday men's basketball took on VCU. Tyler went out to the game and got the coverage.
On Saturday, January 25th, the VCU Rams came to Tom Gola Arena for an 8-10 matchup. The game was all Explorers early as Ayinde Hakeem showed his hustle, picking up the early 2 assists and knocking down the tray. The Rams would take over quickly, scoring 21 unanswered, but LaSalle wouldn't go into half easy. Spencer's pull-up jumper and finish in transition would bring it to within single digits going into the half. Spencer's hot hand at the end of the first half led all Explorers in scoring with 8. LaSalle would go on a 10-0 run in the second, capitalized by a steal and dish from Fury down to Beatty in transition for the fast break slam. The Explorers would stay in the game thanks to late game threes, where they made it a 3-point game with 3 minutes remaining, but they would fall short of the upset, losing 76 to 65. David Beatty and Scott Spencer led the Explorers in scoring with 16 each, as Ed Croswell and Saul Fury both also had double digits with 11. For SportsLine, I'm Tyler Small.
The men then had a nail-biter on Wednesday night against St. Louis. Sophomore Ed Croswell had a career night where he had his 5th double-double and scored 24 points, beating his previous high of 18 points. The game started with each team scoring 7 until the Billikens went on a 14-3 run, which gave them an 11-point lead. In the second half, St. Louis began to pull away, but LaSalle clawed their way back into it. At the end of the second half, Ed Croswell sunk 2 baskets, then made 2 free throws to take the game into overtime. Croswell continued to carry before the Billikens pulled away. David Beatty made a 3 to bring the deficit to 1, but the Explorers could not complete the comeback.
Last Thursday, the women's basketball team traveled down to Richmond to take on the Spiders. Tech Girl correspondent Elizabeth Walters has the rundown.
Last Thursday, the women's basketball team traveled to take on the Richmond Spiders. The Explorers started hot, taking a 10-point lead to end the first quarter. The Spiders replied by controlling the second quarter to take a 36-32 lead. Richmond started to pull away in the second half, outscoring the Explorers by 7 in the third quarter. The Explorers fought back in the fourth quarter, going to a 9-2 run, but fell short, 63-61. Salle led the Explorers with 18 points and 9 rebounds. Freshman standout Clara Jacobs struggled in the game, scoring 2 of 19 for only 7 points. For SportsLine, I'm Elizabeth Walters.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Moving on to Sunday, the team then took on 8-10 and Big 5 rival St. Joe's. Isaiah Clark has the coverage.
On Sunday, women's basketball took on St. Joe's. The game got off to a rough start for both teams, with no one scoring for almost 3 minutes. The lid was finally taken off the hoop with a three-pointer by Claire Jacobs. The Explorers then took control of the first quarter, playing tough defense as they ended the period with a 15-8 lead. LaSalle kept up the momentum in the second quarter, which saw Kayla Sproul and Claire Jacobs begin to take turns dominating the Hawks' defense. By the end of the second period, the Explorers had extended their lead to 11. As the second half started, the Explorers maintained control of the game and built upon their lead, with Sproul and Claire Jacobs basically competing to see who had the hotter hand. In the fourth, the Hawks attempted to make a comeback, getting the lead down to just 6 down the stretch. But the Explorers were too much, as LaSalle took the game by a score of 67-59. Shalina Miller added to her blocks record with 6 blocks in the game. Kayla Sproul and Claire Jacobs scored 24 and 21 points respectively. The win brings their record to 8-12 overall and 2-5 in conference. For SportsLine, I'm Isaiah Clark.
The LaSalle women's basketball team added another dub to their win column as they took down George Mason. The Explorers opened up the game with 7 unanswered points, and it was all Explorers throughout the game. LaSalle had a 13-point lead in the third period, and Mason went on a 12-3 run to cut the Explorers' lead down to 4. A 43-point combination from the Aussie twins of Amy and Claire Jacobs helped claim a 77-65 victory over Mason. The Explorers scored 26 points in transition, which tied a season high for this fast-paced offense. Claire Jacobs tied her career high, scoring a record with 29 points. Senior Shalina Miller continued her dominance on the defensive end as she picked up a game-high 12 rebounds and 5 blocks.
Women's track continued their season at George Mason as they competed in the Patriot Games. Senior Jessica Bryant continued her triple jump dominance, getting first with distance of 11.28 meters. Oba Bissy Adams took third in the long jump with a leap just over 5 meters. The Explorers had 3 finishers in the 800 meter, with freshman Sammy Miller placing 5th. Junior Michaela Eberly took 10th, while freshman Jenna Webb placed 15th out of 33 runners. Junior Tess Gibbons and DeAndre Gilmore finished 9th and 10th respectively in the 3,000 meter. Senior Desiree Osley finished 12th out of 29th runners in the 200 meter dash. Freshman Amy Conboy was the sole Explorer in the mile, finishing 13th out of 23 runners with a time of 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
The men's track and field team picked up 3 wins in the past week at the Patriot Games. Junior Dylan Burnett picked up the 60-meter hurdles for the blue and gold with a time of 8.6 seconds. 3 other Explorers placed in the top 5. Senior Archie Hall finished 2nd, while freshman Mata Nagaima and sophomore Kyrie Johnson-Walters placed 4th and 5th respectively. Chris Lewis earned the gold in the 2 events. The sophomore's 60-meter time of 6.94 seconds and his 200-meter dash time of 22.23 seconds were IC4A qualifiers. Lewis' win count currently stands at 5 for the season.
Men's swimming made a splash this past weekend after taking home their 4th straight win on their senior day. The men were up against Seton Hall University, where they absolutely dominated. 14 total wins in the meet helped them maintain their perfect 4-0 record. Standout seniors included Christoph Ross, who took home 2 wins in the 100 and 200 breast, and Norm Gregory, who claimed the title in the 200 free. Sophomore Zachary Wolbert topped the charts with 3 wins for the blue and gold in the 100 fly and the 200 fly, and the 100 individual medley. The Explorers also took home wins in both relay races, along with other individual titles to conclude their successful weekend.
LaSalle's women's swim team was able to pick up a huge win on senior day against Seton Hall. It also marks the second time this year where they won consecutive meets. Leading the way was senior Carrie Horgan, who took home 2 first-place finishes in the 100 and 200-meter breasts. Other senior Emily Wolbert had a fine outing as well, taking silver in the 200 fly and bronze in the 100 fly. The sophomores were outstanding performers in this week, as Ann Moser and Sarah Rosetto combined for 5 victories, which included the 500 and 1,000 free, while Rosetto took claims in the 200 free, 200 back, and then the 200 individual medley. The other dominant sophomore, Phoebe Shea, placed gold in the 1 meter and 3 meter. Lastly, rookie Toni Rafferty continued her strong performances, taking gold in the 50 and 100 meter freestyles.
That's it for recaps, but when we come back, I sit down with the Jacob sisters. Stay tuned.
Yo, bro, what's good?
What's going on?
How you feeling, man?
Doing good. How you doing?
When'd you start smoking?
Smoking? It's a jewel, bro.
It's a jewel?
Yeah.
Listen, you might as well be smoking cigarettes. When you start juuling or vaping, you're 4 times more likely to start smoking cigarettes.
Is that true?
That's very true. Give me the jewel. You don't need it.
To learn more about e-cigarettes, go to thetruth.com.
You know you watch. You shouldn't be watching this. You should be watching Salle TV. Hey, watch Salle TV. You know you watch.
Man, Keegan is taking this You Know You Watch thing way too seriously.
You know you watch Salle TV.
Welcome back. On Saturday, January 25th, at halftime of the men's basketball game, LaSalle honored the new inductees into the Hall of Athletes. First up was swimmer Mark McCulley from the class of 1968. McCulley excelled in the 200 back, going to the national competition in Illinois that year, where he finished 6th among the field. The LaSalle record breaker earned himself an All-American honor for those performances.
From the men's basketball team from 2001 to 2005, Steve Smith shined on the court, earning 7th all-time Explorers in points and 5th all-time in rebounds. In his senior season, he earned a unanimous first-team all-district selection for leading both points and rebounds again.
Last, but certainly not least, was the 1988-89 women's basketball team that went 28-3, ranking as high as 18th in the nation during the season. They went on to earn an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament and defeat Big East champion UConn Huskies in the opening round.
It's that they're able to give all those people that nice honor.
It really was a great ceremony. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. But earlier this week, I got to sit down with the Claire and Amy Jacobs of the women's basketball team. Take a look. Since you guys are well into your freshman season and you guys played on some elite teams in Australia, how does those teams translate into Division I play?
I feel like it prepared us really well because it was really high pressure in Australia, and so coming here and having the same high pressure, I feel like it was really easy to translate across into D1 basketball.
Right. So what made you guys decide to totally move across the globe and come to the United States and specifically Philadelphia?
We didn't know it was specifically going to come here, but we knew we definitely wanted to come across and play because there's no college basketball in Australia. It's very different when you go to university. And with our coaches from back home, we got told it's such a good opportunity to grow, to get better and get your degree. So we really wanted to come over. And then after talking to Mountain, it was instinctive that we were going to come here because he was just a good, we just loved talking to him.
It was a good match right away.
Yeah.
Nice. So was it decided before your college search that you guys were going to go together to a different college?
No.
Or
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
yes. Dad said that we couldn't come across unless we came together. Like, we were looking at different ones, but then he made, like, the final decision.
Okay. So how was it on your parents, like, telling them you were going to move across, like, over 22 hours?
Yeah, well, they were really excited for us, actually.
Okay.
I feel like they were our biggest supporters because, I mean, personally, I was a bit unsure and they actually wanted us to come across. So, I mean, without them, probably wouldn't have come across so willingly.
Okay. So what made you decide Philadelphia, like the interaction with Mountain?
Yeah, and all the coaching staff, like, just talking to them online. And then when Mountain came to Australia, like, to visit us, we had, like a really good connection with him. And we thought that we were going to, like, progress and get better, like, under his structures and the way he plays and coaches.
Okay. So is basketball something that's always been in your life, or when did you guys start playing basketball?
We started when we were 9, but
Okay.
my parents both played basketball. So we're just a basketball family.
Oh, cool. So how did your parents start? Was it through their lives that they had basketball as well?
Yeah, see, my dad's dad kind of played. They had just a family team.
Oh, wow.
He has, like, 6 brothers.
Yeah, he has, like, 6
Wow.
brothers, so they had their own team. They just grew up playing. My dad coaches.
Okay.
So it just kind of,
And he was your coach?
yeah.
So did you guys start playing at the same time also?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were about 9?
Yeah.
Very cool. So how is it in your house? Are you guys really competitive against each other? Like, not just basketball, but in general?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a very competitive household.
In everything.
Okay. So, like, if you guys were going to go one-on-one, who would win?
Me. Shut up.
She's lying right on
No,
camera.
I'm telling the truth.
Lying right on camera.
You trying to, no.
Oh,
I'd win.
she's-
Me.
In what world would you win?
This one.
So you guys are competitive in every aspect.
Yes.
So on the court, do you guys, like, push each other a lot?
Yeah. I feel like we definitely,
Especially when we were younger.
Yeah?
because we never wanted to be the same level, so it made us.
We had to be better than the other person.
That's funny. Okay, so looking back at your team this year, December and January were a little bit rough. So how'd you guys get out of that patch?
We did a lot of rethinking, like our coaches did, and we, like, changed the way we were, like, going to go about playing and, like, the way in which we, like, thought about doing things. Like, every little thing mattered, and we were going harder at practices and, like, just changed, like, the rotations changed everything. Like, you had to fight for your spots, like your starting spots, because it changes every week. And, like, your time on the court was dictated from practice, so which meant practices were better and tougher, which, like, translated to our games.
Yeah, and that was evident for you at the end of that losing streak. At UMass, you dropped 29 points. So how did it feel to be a freshman and already have big games like that?
It's exciting. Like, it's, like, always fun, like, when you're scoring the ball, and then as well as, like, having team success. Like, I think that it was just a really fun game to play.
Yeah, and so, like, is that something that you want to grow with and you want to get better with, or was that like something you felt accomplished with that game specifically?
It was, like, an accomplishment, but I want to get better, and I want to, like, I still think, like, there's a lot more potential, and, like, so I can definitely do better and improve. So.
Yeah. So, and you guys had a really hot streak in the very beginning of the season. So what do you guys think you're going to do from this point going forward to get back to that?
Just keep going as hard as we've been going. And then just, like, I feel like the team's thinking more about what's to come than anything. Yeah.
So is there any upperclassmen that you look up to as role models or anything?
I'm pretty sure, like, all of them.
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
All of
I
them?
feel like everyone above us pushes us to want to be where they are.
That's really nice that you have somebody like that so that they can really set you up for success. That's nice. So when you guys first got here, was it a comfortable transition for you to start playing with those veterans that have been here for years?
Yeah, it was very comfortable.
Yeah. It was actually really easy. Like, learning to play with other people is, like, difficult. Like, it was hard. Like, we had to, like, learn where they moved, like, how they moved. But, like, now that we've started playing with them, like, it's become a lot easier, and it's really fun.
Right, and so with that, also, how is it playing under Coach Mountain?
He's taught us so much already, and we're only just started.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he always gives us the freedom to do whatever we want to do on the court most of the time. But yeah, he really just lets us play basketball and pushes us to be better than we were yesterday.
Nice. That's awesome. That's a great coach to have there. So what do you guys have any personal goals, and what are your team goals as well?
The team goal would definitely be to have a winning season and win the A10 conference. I feel like that's everyone's goal.
Everyone's goal.
Everyone's goal is, but I just I just want our team to keep improving. Shut up. I just want our team to keep improving the way they're improving.
And do you have any personal goals?
It's just it's like hard, like just to like keep improving, like Mountain says, like get 1% better every day, and then just to keep growing and gain.
It seems that you guys both have a very team mindset, which is, I think, great. And I think it's really hard as freshmen especially to pick that up, so that's really good. But before we wrap up here, we're going to play a little game. So this game's called the Big Five, and I'm going to ask you 5 Philly questions, and you have to try to answer it within 5 seconds, okay? All right, we'll start with you. Ready? Your fave Philly sports team?
The 76ers.
Okay. Your favorite place to visit in Philly?
The Rocky Steps.
Your favorite Philly food?
The Wooder ice.
Wooder. Your favorite Philadelphia slang?
John.
John. Okay. Do you know what that means?
Anything.
Correct. And your favorite Philly mascot?
The LaSalle Explorer.
Oh, good answer. All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. I will send it back to the desk. All right. It was really nice to sit down with them. I mean, I got to learn a little bit more about these two superstars on the court. But on another note, on January 26th, the world lost a legend in Kobe Bryant in a helicopter accident that also took the lives of his daughter Gianna and 7 other people. Bryant had a connection to the LaSalle community through his father, Joe Bryant, who was an explorer from 1973 to 1975. He earned Hall of Fame honors from the Big Five in 1981. Another connection comes from 2018 graduate B.J. Johnson, who went to the same high school and played under the same head coach in Greg Downer at Lower Merion. They shared his nickname, Bean, as he was to be the best player since Kobe, and he also led them to a state championship in 2013 for the first time since Kobe's 1996 team. Kobe competed against current assistant coach Donnie Carr in high school when Carr played for Roman Catholic. Despite losing to Kobe in 2 of the 3 games, Carr outscored Kobe in their final game 34-30 to edge out the win for Roman Catholic. For all of us here at SportsLine, we send our thoughts and prayers to all the families of the victims. We will be back after this break.
Oh my God, I swear, these sports show hosts just get dumber and dumber as time goes on. Like, I can't believe people are actually paid money, real money, more than what I make at my job to say this stupid stuff. Like, I can't believe this crap. Oh my gosh. I'm about to lose it. I'm about to lose it. Like, this is just, how can they even...
Hey, what you doing?
This stupid sports show. These people have no idea how the game of basketball is played. Not at all.
Hey, you're not you when you don't watch LaSalle TV. Here, let me show you.
Have much more left, but the only reason why for everyone else it's a one-year rental. Philadelphia here on the South TV. I'm your host, all that coach.
Feel better now?
Better.
You're not you when you're not watching LaSalle TV. To stay up to date, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Before we get to the Explorer Report, here are some other events happening in the upcoming weeks. Track and field competes in the Penn State National Open on Friday and Saturday.
Throughout the entire weekend, the women's water polo team hosts the LaSalle Invite, including 2 games on Saturday and 1 game on Sunday.
Swimming and diving takes part in the Villanova Spring Fest on Saturday, and later that day, women's basketball travels to Fordham to take on the Rams.
But now we welcome Matt Pizarro for this week's Explorer Report.
Thanks, Gia. This Sunday, February 2nd, our LaSalle men's basketball team will travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Duquesne Dukes. The Dukes are currently 15-5, and for conference play, they are 5-3, but on a 3-game losing streak. The Explorers enter this game with a record of 10-10 and only 1 conference win. However, the blue and gold are coming off a close 1-point game against St. Louis. Sophomore Ed Croswell had a career night against St. Louis, so he'll be a key factor against Duquesne, along with senior Isaiah Dees, who's been an offensive powerhouse for LaSalle as well as Croswell. The Dukes are coming off a close game as well against the #1 team in the conference, Dayton. Some key players on Duquesne to watch out for will be the junior duo of Michael Hughes and Marcus Weathers, who scored in the double digits against top-ranked Dayton. Explorers Ed Croswell will need to stay out of foul trouble to give LaSalle a good chance to win this game. For SportsLine, I'm Matt Bissaro.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so this game's probably going to be a tough one. I think all of these conference games have definitely been tough since they've only won one so far this season. But I think that if they're going to win, I think Ed Croswell is a big factor, and I think he really needs to stay out of foul trouble, unlike the other games. I mean, he is coming off this career game, so, I mean, hopefully that gives him a little nudge.
And he proved it yesterday in the fact that he got to play an extended amount of minutes, including an overtime period, and he was the reason that went into overtime. I mean, usually when you're coming from behind, you rely on Isaiah Dees or Fury, some of your outside shooters, but Croswell was able to stay inside and clean up and hit some big free throws, which is something he hasn't been able to say this past year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that Duquesne, they had like a recent game against Dayton.
Yes.
But it was close. So, I mean, they're coming off of that, which is probably not good for us because they have some confidence.
LaSalle wasn't completely out of that game, though. I mean, they went into the second half. What the Explorers struggle with is just playing a full 40 minutes of their solid basketball.
Yeah.
But I think that might be different, but we'll see.
We'll see. Well, let's go to picks. Let's see, Matt, what he picked.
So you're probably wondering what my pick's going to be. Well, I have Duquesne winning against the Explorers 71-50. I think the Explorers are going to try to make a comeback around the end of the first half and then blow it in the second, because that's just what they do.
Yeah, so I also think that Duquesne's going to win 71-65. I'm just not confident that the Explorers can finish it out.
No, I see it differently. I think that LaSalle is going to win this game, actually. They've been battle tested from all these close contests, and I think that they're going to win with an extensive amount of point differential.
Well, I guess we'll find out. All right, well, that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorer Report this week, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com or checking out this week's edition of The Collegian.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Twitter at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions there.
For Matt, Isaiah, and our SportsLine team, I'm Gia Lancey.
And I'm Tyler Small. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the game.